So tonight is the NBA draft, and the question is, which superstar will the Lakers show fealty to in the first round? There is a path, albeit a narrow one, for USC to slide into the college football playoffs, and at least one scribe thinks UCLA will be lucky just to land in a bowl game. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And so it is June 26, 2024. I am still stuck in the Midwest where life kind of sucks. But what doesn't suck is LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Dodgers 4, White Sox 3. Shohei Ohtani hit his 24th home run of the season. Freddie Freeman also goes deep. Lovely night, even in the South Side. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers are still at the Chicago White Sox at 5. Gavin Stone is 8-2 with a 3.04 ERA. Eric Freddie is 5-2 with a 3.05 ERA. And what do you say we get to the news with this light schedule? Now, before we chat about the NBA draft, I want to give you a quick Lakers note. ESPN's Dave McMenamin, who, unlike many of his co-workers at ESPN, actually does have sources, so kudos to that, is reporting that the Lakers will offer LeBron James a 3-year contract for the maximum if he opts out of his current deal. Which sounds like big news, right? And it was treated as big news. But we already knew the Lakers were going to pony up whatever they had to keep the guy, right? Because LeBron James is a priority. But the Lakers have possibly conflicting priorities, and that leads us to tonight's festivities. Because the NBA draft is tonight. Now, ESPN, for reasons nobody can fathom, thinks of this as a 2-night extravaganza, which is ridiculous because most of the second-round picks are immediately sent to the G League. Hell, there are first-round picks that go to the G League. So why would I care about night 2? Which makes night 1 important because the big question centers around who the Lakers will support in round 1. If Bronny James blasts past pick 17, where the Lakers currently sit, it'll suggest to us that perhaps the Lakers are finally doing more than just talking the talk about Anthony Davis being the centerpiece of the franchise. Because drafting Bronny James at 17 does nothing to help Davis. It only strokes LeBron James's ego. And I'm not a LeBron James hater, but let's be real. He's had a couple of decades of history being de facto GMs wherever he plays. We have to face reality with that. And if Bronny James also lasts past pick 17, believe you me, every ESPN hype spewer at the desk is going to be hyperventilating, trying to will it into existence that Bronny James goes on night 1. The scribes need that dopamine hit because they've just had their refractory period after the J.J. Redick press conference. So then you have to pause and you have to ask, okay, what are the stakes? What do the Lakers have? What could happen? Well, the Lakers are now eligible to trade up to 3 first-round picks and whatever player is currently on the roster in a trade. Now, Rob Pelinka did not sound like a significant upgrade was coming when he spoke at the Redick press conference. But the one thing the Lakers don't want to do, especially after all this goofball coaching search, is frustrate either LeBron James or Anthony Davis. And then you ask, well, hell, what do the Lakers need? Honestly, I'm not the coach. I know J.J. Redick was talking about shooting threes, but whatever. I think a big guy that could be developed would be a solid idea. For all the talk about Davis being the focal point of the franchise, he doesn't want to play center. He doesn't like it. So get a big guy and move Davis to the 4. But will they do that? Because Bronny James is a guard and an undersized guard at that. Right? And I'm not even sold on the Lakers' ability to draft, by the way. Where exactly has Max Christie been? Where exactly has Jalen Hood-Schifino been? Austin Reeves, sure, you could say the Lakers have developed players. They developed Malik Monk. They developed Austin Reeves. Reeves wasn't drafted, guys. So this is a big cluster bleep for the Lakers. Do they support LeBron James by drafting his son in the first round? Or do they finally stick to their guns and say, look, LeBron, your friend is now the coach. You're going to get the max deal. We're going to try to get Bronny in round 2. But we got to at least throw Anthony Davis a bone. Right? Now, there were a couple of things worth bringing up about the Redick press conference that we didn't do yesterday. We're thinking about it a second time. One is that Redick is considering coaching the summer league team in Vegas, which is weird, but okay, so be it. 2, he claims he wants the Lakers to shoot more threes, which is really hilarious because every coach that they've had since Phil Jackson has wanted the Lakers to shoot more threes. And what do we have? Right? The third thing we didn't bring up is that he dropped multiple F-bombs in the press conference. Now look, the reason I didn't bring that up is because anything I say would be patently obvious about dropping F-bombs at a press conference. It's a really dumb idea. It doesn't matter how much product you put in your hair or how expensive the suit is. Dropping F-bombs in press conferences for one of the world's most glamorous sports franchises is low quality. It is low value. And that may not signal that he's going to be a terrible coach, but there's already plenty of reasons to believe he's going to be a terrible coach. Meanwhile, with the Clippers, just to get it out of the way, former ESPN scribe Mark Stein is reporting Paul George wants a 4-year contract. The report also claims that the Clippers have always been his preferred spot. And so the drama continues, right? As for the draft itself, the Clippers do not have a first-round pick. But they could use some young blood. They're the oldest team in the league. By the time they pick at 46, let's be real, anybody without a pacemaker would be a good idea for that team. As for the local colleges in the NBA draft, you can go through mock draft after mock draft. You could. I won't. I've been through enough. There are stories that are claiming that James's USC teammate Isaiah Collier is not assured of being a lottery pick anymore. Now, if that's the case, and I don't believe that to be true, but if it is the case, that could lead to an interesting question. If Collier falls out of the lottery, that's actually pretty close to the Lakers' pick. If Bronny James gets taken ahead of Isaiah Collier, then the Lakers or whatever team selects Bronny James in the first round has collectively lost their minds. Straight up. The consensus seems to be that UCLA's Bona could go in the first round, late. And as for going back to USC, maybe Boogie Ellis gets picked in round 2, but that would be a surprise. He's probably going to get signed on a 2-way deal at best. CBSSports.com pondered what could happen with the teams joining the Big Ten Conference this year. They determined that of the 2 LA teams, USC has a higher ceiling than UCLA. They think the Trojans even have an outside shot at a college playoff berth. But it's not going to be an easy road to hoe. The Lakers, too much Laker talk. If the Trojans can defeat 2 of the following 4 teams, LSU, Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame, if they can defeat 2 of those 4, the thinking goes, then the Trojans absolutely have a shot. If the Trojans don't defeat 2 of those 4, they're not even certain USC will go to a bowl game because they might not be eligible. The Big Ten is a significantly tougher conference than the Pac-10, and USC was struggling like hell last year. So that's not exactly solid ground that they're standing on. CBS is less definitive about UCLA. or less confident about UCLA. They don't think highly of Deshaun Foster's chances in year one at all. They believe if the Bruins just qualify for a bowl game, that's the best scenario. Because the Bruins do not have an easy non-conference schedule either. They're not scheduling Division II, Division III teams this year like they did under the last couple of years with Chip Kelly there. UCLA plays at LSU, for example. They also fly to Hawaii. They host Fresno State. Now, Fresno State and Hawaii, I'm not suggesting that these guys are powerhouses at all. But flying to Hawaii is an ask. Fresno State, it plays tough. So hopefully, for the Bruins' sake, they get 2 victories there. You have to then find 5 victories in the Big Ten Conference, which is a really tough call. Moreover, the Bruins have a stretch in their schedule. Check this out. The road trip to LSU, then they come back to host Oregon, then they fly across the continent to play Penn State. And Chip Kelly left Foster with next to nothing in terms of the roster. Foster's been hauling his ass off trying to rebuild the thing. So it's a tough call. There's been a lot of good vibes with the UCLA program just by getting rid of Chip Kelly. But the season's where the rubber hits the road. CBSSports.com also kills a lot of time during the NFL offseason by creating list after list, one of which is the top 25 players younger than 25. Now, normally I don't get bothered over rankings. I would take note about such a rankings to say, hey, watch out, this young player could break out. With the Rams, Puka Nacua made the list, which makes a ton of sense. What doesn't make sense at all about the list is that he's ranked 20th. You're trying to tell me there are 19 younger players out there that will make a bigger impact on his team than Puka Nacua? Really? Even the scribe who compiled the list described Nakua's rookie season as historic. He's going to be one of the linchpins of the offense. And he's only the 20th. Don't buy that. When we talk about Dodger prospects, I often feel a tinge of remorse over catcher Diego Cartaya, who was once considered can't miss, surefire big leaguer, and then he fell off the cliff when he reached Double-A Tulsa. Not that the hype train is back on the tracks, by the way, but as a side note to everything in Cartaya's career, he's just been promoted to Triple-A Oklahoma City. Now, I don't know how much of a promotion this is, to go from one end of Oklahoma to the other end. I wouldn't be particularly proud of myself if that was my big move, Tulsa to Oklahoma City. But it is AAA. Perhaps he's back on track. Teoscar Hernandez did not return to the Dodgers in time for Tuesday's game. You might recall he left the team to attend to a personal matter in the Dominican Republic. I can't blame him. If you have to attend to a personal emergency and you're flying from Chicago to the Dominican Republic, you're not spending a lot of time there before that plane to come back is there. He needed more time. I don't have a problem with it at all. For all the talk we've had about the Kings' 1-3-1 system being a key to their defense, the overall state of the group apparently is not elite. The Athletic currently ranks the Kings' defensemen as a group as 17th in the NHL. Now keep in mind, this is under the assumption that they might lose Matt Roy to free agency. The analytics dorks think Roy is their second best defenseman. If they lose him, that's going to be a hit, obviously. And yes, we've mentioned his name before. There is the possibility that Brandt Clark is NHL ready. So we're going to have to be patient and find out. You let me know, though, what you think in the comments thread. What do you believe is going to go on for the local teams and local colleges in tonight's NBA draft? And for that matter, are you even remotely optimistic about USC or UCLA football in the Big Ten this year? If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.